Hey guys, as I sit in this parking lot, some things are coming to my mind, and that thing is safety as a private security officer. What can you do if you approach somebody who's acting a little bit suspicious and all of a sudden they put their hands in their pockets, specifically their pants pocket or maybe a sweater pocket in the front? Well, we also have to agree that there's a couple of things that could be happening here. Number one, their hands are cold, they're just trying to warm them up. Number two, maybe it's just some type of mannerism that they do. Maybe it's some type of nervous behavior that this particular person exhibits when this person is faced with stress. Number three, perhaps this person is concealing maybe some type of drug. Maybe this person thinks that you're the police and they are trying to conceal it from you. Number four, they might be concealing a weapon from you. And they might be concealing a weapon from you, planning an ambush. They're waiting for that right opportunity. Maybe when you're looking away, you're not paying attention, or your guard is down and they're ready for the ambush moment. So we'll talk about the legalities of self-defense as a private security officer in the state of California. You guys know that I'm not an attorney. This is not legal advice, or this isn't even law enforcement advice. As a private security officer in the state of California, you cannot touch somebody unless you are detaining them under the merchant privilege rule, or number two, you're effecting a private person's arrest. If you touch somebody, more or less, as a private security officer, it's either an assault or battery. If you attempted to touch them, that's an assault, and if you actually touch them, that is a battery. Whether or not the district attorney's office is going to prosecute you just for that simple touch, that's a different story. To be excused, legally excused, such as an affirmative defense from the crime of assault or battery, you're going to have to argue some type of self-defense, or you'd have to argue that you were legally trying to effect an arrest. So if somebody puts their hands in their pockets, okay, there's no officer safety standard. Those of you who are in law enforcement or were in law enforcement, maybe you graduated from the academy or some type of criminal justice program, you guys probably heard of a safety pat down, Terry versus Ohio. Whenever a law enforcement officer believes that criminal activity is afoot, if this officer thinks that this person could possibly have a deadly weapon, then this officer can legally pat this person down on the outer portions of the clothing. Okay, this is called the stop and frisk. This is a legal pat down for law enforcement. Private security, you can't do that. There's no exception. The only exception is under the merchant privilege rule. If you suspect that this person is committing shoplifting, you can actually detain that person. You can use reasonable force to detain the person. So this person you suspect of shoplifting, you detain them, or you try to detain them. In the process, they put their hands in the pockets real fast. You can act, if you think it's a weapon that could potentially be used against you, you can grab their hand, or you can take some type of other safety measure. Usually you would just grab their hand where they're at and ask them to slowly remove it. You normally don't want to have somebody remove something out of their pockets, because if they do that, they can easily just pull the knife out. If you have control over their hands while they're removing this object, you can actually feel if they're actually reaching for contraband or a weapon, or some type of other piece of evidence that they're trying to hide. You can actually feel, and you'll feel by the tenseness of their arms. That's what you're going to have to argue as a private security officer, is the merchant privilege rule. And again, that's in a retail environment usually. The other environment, you would have to only touch them if you're effecting the arrest. So what you could do is you could tell somebody, hey, leave the property. No, I'm not leaving. And they put their hands in their pockets, and there's a big bulge and you think it could be a weapon. Well, by you grabbing them or making sure that that object is not a weapon, by you physically checking, you are what you would argue is that you were trying to effect an arrest. and that arrest would be trespassing. This is ridiculous. Most law enforcement officers don't even know this, that private security cannot detain somebody outside of a merchant privilege rule. Most law enforcement don't even know that, and a lot of private security, they don't even understand that you can't just detain people. And I know that because as a law enforcement officer, I see tons of private security professionals detaining people that is not in situations that are not in a retail environment, and you just can't do that. Okay. Now, when I worked private security some years ago, if somebody were to just make a furtive movement and put their hands in their pockets, especially their pants pockets, I don't care what rules there were. I don't care if it was assault or battery. I would just grab their hand and just say, hey, look, what do you have in here? Do you have a weapon? Or I would just straight out, hey, do you have a gun in here? You got a knife? No, I don't have nothing. Okay, well, I'm gonna check. Okay, so then I'd pull their hands out of their own pockets. So if they had something, then I would feel that tension in their wrist or in their forearm. Okay. If those of you who are unarmed, you're gonna either have to move in closer just in case they pull a weapon. You have time to move out of the way and grab it. It just depends on the circumstance. I don't recommend grabbing a firearm from somebody unless you have the proper training. And even if you have the proper training, you might not have that reaction time that you need to accomplish your mission. But you either want to move in close or get the hell out. Get the hell out of Dodge. And the thing about getting out of there, what I'm referring to is like you're really creating a lot of distance. I mean, you're either booking it, you're running, or you're creating a 20-foot gap, 30-foot gap, and 40-foot gap. With unarmed security, you either move in or you get the hell out if you think this person might have a weapon. Okay, those of you who are unarmed, remember you might have that 5-cell flashlight. Maybe your employer doesn't let you carry any weapon. Hey, if you got to defend yourself, you got to defend yourself. But with a flashlight, if you're in close enough and you feel that this is a deadly weapon, you can use it if it's reasonable in the circumstance. Okay, if they suddenly pull a gun out and you're already close in and you're fearing for your life, hit them over the head, hit them in the throat. Okay, you need to stop this threat, because if you don't stop it, it's going to stop you. Okay, now those of you who have a firearm, it's a little bit different. The thing is, if you think somebody has a gun and you see that bulge and you think they're about to pull it out from you, me personally, as a private security officer, I'd start to draw the weapon. I would grab the butt of the gun and begin taking it out a little bit, and I'd tell them, you better put that down or stop what you're doing. You better stop right now. Do not move. And then that's when I would go for the pat down. Okay, you're gonna have to go, if you haven't been through training already, you're gonna have to go through some more training on how to pat somebody down if you have a firearm. Now, you don't want to pat them down with your firearm out. You want to have it at least secured, but there's different techniques that I can't discuss in this video, just because I would want to deliver to you more properly rather than me just sitting in the car explaining it to you. Okay, if you're a firearm, I'd start slowly taking it out. Hey, if I think you have a weapon, I'm in fear of my life, and I'm going to slowly start producing that weapon. You don't listen to me, I might have it at the low ready. Okay, I'm not saying to shoot this person. What I'm saying is to maybe start slowly drawing your weapon, or at least unsnapping your holster and going to, and if you can, go to a position of cover. If you're by your unit, your patrol car, maybe some type of light pole, start seeking that cover, maybe a brick wall, just in case they actually do produce a weapon, you have some type of cover. Okay. This person complains, hey, why are you pulling a gun out on me, or why are you grabbing your gun? And it happened to me a couple weeks ago in my law enforcement job. Somebody just put their hands in their pockets. I put my gun on the grip of my gun, and then the guy said, hey, can you not pull your gun out? Can you not do that? And I said, sure. As soon as you stop putting your hands in your pockets, just like how you're doing right now, I'll stop doing that. And I think the friend mentioned something else. Officer, can you not grab your gun? And I did mention, as soon as my other partners pat your friend down and then you down, and we determine you have no weapons, then I will kindly not grab the butt of my gun, grip of my gun. Excuse me, guys. still sick here. So again, keep in mind, if you are armed guard and you pull your gun out and you point it at somebody, you're creating an arrest situation also. So you have to be able to explain to maybe the police officers why you did what you did. Maybe if you have the law ready, you have more of an argument that you are not creating an arrest situation. Creating an arrest situation is important because, or to know that you're creating an arrest situation, because that involves the crime of false imprisonment. And a legal excuse for that, or affirmative defense, would be that you are trying to effect an arrest. Okay. Hope this video helps you guys understand California law a little bit. As you know, I'm not an attorney. I have a little bit of law enforcement background, over 18 years. And I do teach the BSIS Powers to Arrest course. That's all the training and experience I have. But again, I'm not an attorney. There might be different facts. Anyhow, I'm really curious to know how you guys deal with people who put their hands in their pockets. Does it even bother you at all? What are your suggestions, and what do you do? I'm really, as a law enforcement officer, I'm really interested in knowing what you guys as private security professionals are doing out there. Like, subscribe, and be safe.